Hey guys, welcome to my review for God of War 3, the supposedly last game in the series on the PlayStation 3. This was developed by Sony Santa Monica. I believe they're the same guys who did God of War 2. So, the story, this picks up right after God of War 2 with Kratos and the Titans storming Mount Olympus so Kratos can finally get his revenge to kill Zeus and the other Olympian gods who have wronged him. That's about it. It's really just a tale of, as he says several times throughout the game, he's out to finally get his vengeance on the gods for what they have done to him. And this is a revenge tale, plain and simple. If this really is the end of the God of War series, I think they did a really good job with this. This is the proper send-off that Kratos deserved, and Sony did a good job, putting the closing chapter on one of their breakout franchises. This game is just, it's suitably epic, in terms of just its sheer scale and ambition. While this game is from, I believe, 2009 now, here 2011, the graphics are still nice. It runs smooth. I didn't play with any signs of slowdown, and the sense of scale that this graphics engine allows, with you climbing on the backs of titans and fighting them, and inside them the environments and the dynamic movement, and then the sheer amount of normal grunt enemies it has on the screen, I was still just amazed 2 years later since this is being made. The gameplay, the combat at least, is smooth as ever. Hasn't changed, I guess, that much from the other two God of War games, or even really the God of War games on the PSP. However, maybe it's just me, but I found some of the platforming, there's some light platforming elements in this game, and I found them to be a little bit frustrating because a lot of the jumps in this game, when you're jumping across chasms or gaps, require you to use the wings of Icarus, and that would require you double tapping X and then holding it. And either I'm an idiot, I had a really hard time, grasping that concept, or it was just really finicky, and I had a lot of needless deaths by just falling off cliffs because I felt like the wings weren't activating and the jump gaps were too far away. I don't know why. So that's, I guess, more just nitpicking, but the actual combat is still smooth as ever. However, it does seem a little bit easier than some of the past entries. It has been a couple years since I played God of War 1 and 2. I don't think I ever actually beat 2, but I know I beat 1. And it feels like it might be a little bit easier this time around, but it was still, I was playing on normal, and I was entertained, and there was a decent enough challenge for me anyway. Some of the puzzles, though, were still kind of tricky, which I liked. I liked having the nice balance of going from extremely visceral, violent combat to having to really use your mind and think about how to solve some of the puzzles. So those are back. There was a few slight gameplay changes that don't affect the combat that much, but I'll go over them real quick. Magic is now tied directly to what weapon you have equipped, so you don't equip different types of magic. So with your Blades of Chaos, which is the standard Kratos weapon, there's Rage, Spartan Army, or Sparta's Rage or something. There's a magic that you can only use when you have that weapon out. When you have the Nemean Cestus, which is these two gauntlets in the heads of lions, the Nemean Roar can only be tied to those, etc. Then there's also items that you use. There's I think 3 of them in the game. An example would be the Bow of Apollo. Instead of being tied to the magic meter like this would be in the past games, it's tied to its own self-regenerating item meter, so if you don't use it for a while, it'll recharge on its own. Upgrading your health bar, magic bar, item bar is somewhat similar to the past games, except instead of needing 6 Gorgon's Eyes or Phoenix Feathers, you only need 3 now, so that's another thing that I think they kind of did to maybe make it a little bit easier. The story in this game is serviceable, but it's definitely not the focus of this game, at least this type of game. This is an action game, a very heavy action game, and I wasn't really expecting a whole lot of emphasis on story, because the emphasis is on if this plays well and it's fun to play, well then it's done its job, I guess. But like I said, the story is maybe a little bit shallow. It's not much beyond the whole Kratos just out to get his revenge, and this what story and that's told through the cutscenes, what there is, services really only to get you to the next boss fight to fight and kill the next god. Which all the boss fights in this game I thought were really, really well done. Like as soon as like a new god for you to fight appears, I was just excited because I was wanting to see how this one was go down, because they were all pretty unique and all very entertaining. Especially my favorites would be the opening where you fight Poseidon, was really amazing, and fighting Zeus at the end was also pretty cool. There's also a challenge mode that had some replayability. There was a challenge mode in, I believe, the other two God of Wars. There's also several different items that you can pick up that once you beat the game once, you can use them to add more difficulty to playing through again. Then there's also other difficulty levels to add some more replayability. The campaign, or I guess not really a campaign, just the normal gameplay mode, is probably about 10 hours long, so I thought it was serviceable. Just long enough. Overall, though, like I really enjoyed this game, and I just hope that this isn't actually the last of the God of War series. I really enjoy these. I love the mythological aspect. I find that really entertaining, and yeah, I just hope this isn't the last in the series. So this is definitely worth a purchase now, especially I think because it's. I think I got my copy for like 20 bucks. It's not that expensive now, so even if you haven't played the first two God of Wars maybe, but you're looking for a really cool action game, I don't know, maybe look up the plot for the first two on Wikipedia real quick, and then you can pretty much jump right into this, and this is definitely worth your time. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.